And we've got some breaking news out of the NFL where Broncos receiver Jerry Jeudy is expected to miss several weeks with a hamstring injury. That's according to the NFL Network. Jeudy was carted off of the field at practice earlier today and is now in danger of missing the start of the season. It's another blow for the former first-round pick who has missed 9 games over the past 2 seasons with rib and ankle injuries. The Broncos open up their 2023 campaign on September 10th against the Raiders. So what does this mean for fantasy managers and your fantasy team? We have our fantasy expert, Dave Richard, here with us on HQ. Man, Dave, all this news coming down. We've done so many segments as fantasy season is right around the corner. And we did a mock just for fun a little bit earlier today, and Jerry Jeudy was my flex.
You're going to need a new flex.
Yes. Okay. So fantasy managers, how do they handle this news with this hamstring injury with Jerry Jeudy possibly missing or expected to miss several
weeks? And when I hear that, I think a month. And a month from now is when the Broncos are playing the Dolphins in week 3. So if he's back and he's in any kind of good shape, that might be the earliest to expect him. And I think with the hamstring injuries, and especially in the case of somebody like Jerry Jeudy, who's been banged up so much over the course of his career, there is so much risk with him that it is tough to get excited about him. Pair that with what you've seen from Russell Wilson as a passer, not just last year, but this preseason, and this makes me very squeamish to take Jerry Jeudy. Jack, when we talk about it all the time, players fall because of an injury and it creates value. We buy the dip. Well, I think this needs to be a pretty big dip in order for me to feel good about Jerry Jeudy. Even as like 34th among wide receivers, I don't love that right now. And I think about him, even in round 6, you match him up against some guys that have been around the block a few times. Tyler Lockett, Mike Evans. I don't know. I might take 16 or 17 games of those guys versus what would now be 14 games max of Jerry Jeudy if he plays. So I'm pretty nervous about him. I'm bearish on him actually stepping up and being what we thought he would be earlier this year.
Okay, we're talking a little bit off camera about what this means for just the wide receiver room in general, but you were saying you think this could actually help out some of the tight ends that are there in Denver.
Right, so obviously this is going to push up the value of Courtland Sutton in drafts. You're going to see him go as like a round 9-10 pick, maybe even a little bit earlier. I think that's too soon. I'm not sure that Courtland Sutton is a great wide receiver anymore, although for those games that Jerry Jeudy misses, he might actually be startable. So I'll take it back. Round 8, round 9, if he's in that range, you just need a wide receiver, like a wide receiver 3, to get you off to a good start. I think Sutton can be that, and that's not too steep of a price to pay for Courtland Sutton. They also have a rookie receiver who's very fast named Marvin Mims. You're going to see him go in the late rounds, starting as soon as this weekend. So in fantasy drafts, get used to that name. He can end up having a pretty meaningful role. But I think the Broncos would be wise if they use 2 tight end sets. Greg Dulcich is a tight end who's a little bit more of a wide receiver. Let him go out there and play. He's someone that's made plays this preseason. He made plays late last year as well. He's another good late round pick, a sneaky guy at tight end that fantasy managers might gravitate toward. Use him in the early weeks while Jerry Jeudy's out, and then maybe even stick with him if he ends up being productive when Jeudy comes back.
When all of these reports were coming down about Jeudy just being carted off at that joint practice, we did a segment with Ryan Harris, and he was predicting Marvin Mims to kind of carry the load a lot.
Makes
for this.
Perfect sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So what does this mean? I know there's a lot of questions about Russ.
This is the easiest one.
Okay.
This is the easiest question. Pass. Look, there are so many quarterbacks out there that we can look at and say, all right, they're going to be good to go for 20 to 22 fantasy points per game. You know the names. It's Kirk Cousins. It's Geno Smith. Aaron Rodgers is in there. Daniel Jones is in there for me now, too. I think you can make the case for Jared Goff. I think you can make the case for Jordan Love in Green Bay. I almost said Jason Love. I don't know who that is, but I know who Jordan Love is. And Russell Wilson just doesn't measure up. And I wonder if Sean Payton doesn't like what he sees, does he make a move to Jarrett Stidham? He did in the preseason game. Could that happen again? I don't want to trust Russell Wilson, and I certainly don't want to trust him for a couple of games without Jerry Jeudy to begin the year.
Yeah, hard to trust Russ when we saw the performance from 2022 from that season. Also,